Guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri zone for a live show. A live show about a player I think nobody had on his bingo card. In Douglas Luiz, kind of new like news popped up maybe over the weekend. I'm gonna say Saturday, something like that. Maybe Sunday it was, and it felt very, how do I need to put it? Strange, weird, unrealistic because of different reasons. We'll get into it. But apparently, he said yes, basically. Now I know people are waiting on. I didn't hear anything from Fabrizio Romano and Romeo Gresti and whatever. Could be, but Di Marcio's speaking about it, so we will talk about it. With me today, it's not me solo. It's Norbert. How are you doing on this Tuesday?
Hey man, thank you. I'm doing okay, I guess. I just watched the most meaningless 0-0 ever, the Italy-Turkey. It's horrible. And I also watched Ireland-Hungary, and that was also horrible. So yay for me. How are you doing?
I'm good. Like I'm not gonna feel sorry for you because you choose to watch preseason, not preseason. You choose to watch
Yeah,
international friendlies. It won't get worse than that.
yeah,
I'd rather watch us play a Novara in a preseason friendly than I watch
yeah,
international friendlies. Like that's probably the worst football. Not like the worst. Like it's the most meaningless football you will ever see. Like friendlies,
yeah. But
international friendlies are meaningless to me because it's meaning like a tournament. Like you're not gonna get ready in 2 games. Like a tournament, if you click, you'll click. That's when you win a tournament. Like the
yeah,
3 games you play before the tournament are not gonna make you click. You just need to click on the right moment. That's it. So I'm not gonna waste time on watching that. I saw the how do you want to say that, the squad. Spalletti called up, and
yeah.
it could be a very short Euros. Actually, three could could make it out of the group. Depending. So he must be really
The Italy will
rubbish.
not. Yeah,
But three can
Italy
make it
will
out
not
of the
make it
group.
through.
Three can make it out of the group. So
Yeah,
you need to be
top
extremely
four.
rubbish. You need to be extremely
Yeah, the top
rubbish to
four
not
is
make it.
third.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, I just wanted to see Yildiz or Fagioli returning to the national team, stuff like that. But yeah, it was a mistake.
Yeah, I didn't watch, so I don't know. People are talking. Fajoli was nice to watch. As Julian Yildiz was also right. Um, I didn't. I didn't. I will watch Euros, and that's about it. I think. But yeah, we're gonna talk about Douglas Luiz, because uh, apparently he agreed to join Juve, and there are different layers to why he would join us, or why
Yeah,
this deal potentially could make sense, not on a technical aspect, but just purely financially and how you potentially get that deal done. Um, I haven't like I actually me personally I haven't really spoken about it. Not that much. But I will let you speak first. We have been linked with Douglas Luiz, just on the player
yeah.
itself. Not the links to McKennie or the potential deal. We'll get into that in a minute. But just on the player itself, what do you think of the link?
I like him. He's okay. Like it's for me, it's everything about the price. For the right price, he's really good. He can build up. He can build up from the back, and he can also drive the ball forward. He had a pretty o- okay season. I would say good season. In my eyes, he's better than Thuram as well, or Samardzic. He has more experience. He has experience from the Premier League. He played in a team who qualified to the Champions League. I like him. For me, Cope Minas is better player, but also David Luiz is better than Rabiot. So for me, for the right price, he can be really really good in this team.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a sec. Like as a player, I was looking into his stats because I was trying to prepare a video if it's really needed. Um, he's like, I'm not gonna pretend I watch Aston Villa on a weekly basis because I don't. I watched maybe 8 games Aston Villa this season. And that's when they played Liverpool. City, Arsenal, Olympiacos. Funnily enough, that was that was not a good example. But like those type of games, maybe it's a good thing because you watch them in the biggest of games. Um, but Douglas Luiz, as a like as a player, I'm like, okay, fine. I'll take him because I have nothing against the player. I don't think he's shit. I don't think he's world class. To go overboard. I think he's a very good player, and I think he will
Yeah,
do a very good job for Motta under Motta. I think he could fit in. I don't think the Premier League Serie A will be an issue for him as well. So I have nothing against the signing. Especially if you can get rid of McKennie. That's just me personally. Like if you can swap in McKennie, just not talking about financials right now, but just player wise, if you can swap in McKennie for Douglas, I'm like, yeah, like amazing. Like in my opinion, you kind of fleeced Aston Villa there. So that's also the part of the deal I'm extremely confused about. Because let's try to break it down. Even though the reports are conflicting, um,
yeah,
the initial reports were laughable, but let's go of the Marchos reports. Is that they want McKennie, we want Douglas Luiz. They value Douglas Luiz, let's sort of middle ground, 40-ish million euros. We value McKennie at 30 million euros. Aston Villa say, no, 20, 25 maybe. So let's say we will need to give up McKennie and about 20 million euros for Douglas Luiz. Let's call it as for now. Let's call it as the base. McKennie plus 20 million for Douglas Luiz. A deal that I don't think the club is going to do. I don't think the club is going to sit at the table for those conditions. I think they will try to move on McKennie, to Aston Villa, and I think they will tell Aston Villa you can keep Douglas Luiz then, and find him another solution. I don't think we're gonna do that type of deal. I think a deal the club is willing to do is in the range of 50 million, to pay for Douglas Luiz, and that's where I'm like, that's just not gonna happen. Like I don't see because I get our situation. He has 1 year left, but Douglas Luiz has 2 years left. And they said no to crazy money from Arsenal, months ago, and to now say go, basically on kind of cheap deal. Um, I don't think it sounds realistic. I'm also confused why Emery wants McKennie. I'm just gonna be honest, I'm not
yeah,
so sure about that as well, especially if you want to move out McKennie. Um, Douglas Luiz in the process, I don't get it. But the idea of signing it makes sense. The financial background of the entire deal makes zero sense for me, and that's where I'm so skeptical, and I find it hard to talk about it because I don't get it. I'm still confused. I'm really
yeah.
confused.
So Aston Villa need money because of the FFP, right? But what I don't understand is he's on only 2.5 million euros. Actually, yeah, not even pounds. I think 2.5 million
Million
euros he's
euros, yeah.
on. Yeah, that's like McKennie. So I don't understand the
No,
idea.
it's
And
even less than McKennie. McKennie's on 2.8 plus bonus, so he's
yeah,
on less than
I don't
McKennie.
understand. I want the player right now. I don't really understand the deal or how can it be done or what's happening. If we get it done, that's perfect. If we get rid of if we get rid of McKennie with this deal, that's awesome. Um, yeah. So with McKennie, he's right now his amortization. What the value is left, I think 5 million. So whatever we get more than that, it's fine. But if it's 2025, it's really good, and we will see. But yeah, David Luiz is good. It would be nice to get him.
Yeah, and thanks for being a member for 29 months. That's crazy. That's actually when we started it up. So appreciate the support. Will Luis and Colt Miners fit together? I don't think they will play together. I don't think we will sign both. If I'm being completely honest, if we sign Douglas
Mm.
Luiz and you keep Rabiot, I don't see us spending 60 million or let's say 50 million euro for Colt Miners. I don't see it. I don't really see it, if I'm being completely honest. And that's not even talking about on the field. What I do think about Douglas Luiz is that he can play in a two in midfield, which is very interesting because I spoke about when people talked about, oh, we need so many wingers and all those things. I'm like, do not assume it's going to be a 4-3-3 or something. Like, just
Yeah,
assume that it can switch up. Assume that we can play with the two potentially. I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe one up top. Three advanced, dropping in. I don't know what Motta's gonna do. That's why I'm so skeptical or like a bit confused. People talk about Colt Miners and Douglas Luiz. If you give me an option, I'll take Colt Miners. Because I prefer him as a player. I prefer Colt Miners as a player. I think he's what we need more right now going forward. Literally going forward
yeah.
on the pitch. I think he will add more to this team. He's something we lack more than a Douglas Luiz, if I need to put it in
Yeah.
different words. So I don't say, like, I'm not saying they're different, like the same profiles, but keeping Rabiot, adding Douglas Luiz, and adding Colt Miners, I think that's a bit, not a bit too much. Like, it should be normal, but it's a bit too much financially, in my opinion. So that's why
So
I'm also confused about the news as well.
yeah. So what I think is, because all three looks like we really want all three, like Rabiot, Coop Miners, and Douglas Luiz as well. But honestly, I think two of them is realistic. I don't think we're gonna keep Rabiot and sign two more. But everyone is keep on saying that yeah, all three is gonna be Juventus player next year. I don't know. Also, the Rabiot deal is like less than what he earns now. That's the newest, I think, from Di Marzio. I think.
Yeah, I didn't see that, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was from him. I'm not sure. Yeah, I just don't understand. Like, if Motta wants Rabiot, okay, but I just can't see how would he want him more than Douglas Luiz or Cope Miners or whatever. So yeah, my idea is that we're not gonna play 4-3-3. We're gonna play the 4-2-3-1. So with two holding. Um, and yeah, that's it. And I don't know who's gonna play as a 10, but yeah, we will see, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Like on McKennie, again, like when the news first came out, I was like, this sounds like the club is trying to move McKennie out, and they're like, yeah, you want to get rid of Douglas Luiz? Let's see, but what do you think about McKennie? Like, type of idea, you know? Gianni Balzerini is not a source, people. I don't want to repeat it. I will repeat it once. He's not a source, you know? I know he works for one of the he works for Mediaset, which in itself is rubbish as a source. It is what it is. He's not a source.
Yeah,
But yeah, in general, like the McKennie one, if we need to get rid of McKennie. I think the club is pissed, and he's pissed, so it's done. You know, not enough money, too long talks, like whatever you want to do. Maybe something happened, we don't know. Maybe McKennie had other offers and was speaking to other clubs, and that's why the club offered him less. I have no idea. But that's broken, and you need to move him out, and it needs to be done ASAP, you know, as soon as possible. And maybe the club's like, okay, this is a good opportunity to get rid of McKennie, and maybe in return you get a player that Motta approved about, because this is not a signing. If it's done, you plan. This is not. I don't think this is a signing you had on your bingo card. Sitting around the table with Motta. I don't
yeah.
think Douglas Luiz popped up, but that's how the market goes. And I get it. A name,
Opportunities.
an opportunity arise. You ask Motta, do you need him? Do you want him? Can you use him? If Motta's like, yeah, I can actually use him, you go for it. Like, you try to make it happen.
Yeah.
And people hit the like button. Let me see. Only 26 likes. That's not good enough. So hit the like button. Let's push to at least 50 likes on this video for now. The second part of the story, which makes it even more confusing. is that, like you said, he's on 2.5 million apparently, and
Yeah.
Di Marzio saying he's asking for 6.5.
No way.
If he's asking
It's
for
crazy.
6.5, this would have been a no-go from the beginning, because that's
Yeah.
a massive bridge to gap. If it's 6.5, like the club is not even giving Chiesa 6.5. Apparently,
Yeah.
that's the situation right now. Rabiot is getting it because of the tax benefits, and apparently a new player cannot benefit from it, but Rabiot can because of a loophole. He can still do that for a season, maybe two, or like not make Rabiot, but
So
players like
stupid.
in Rabiot's position, But Douglas Luiz apparently not as of now, as we speak. So 6.5, he can ask 6.5. That's fair. He's not worth 6.5. The club is not giving him 6.5, and even if the club is offering something, and it's going to be in the range of 3.5 plus, something like that. That's a
Yeah.
massive difference. That's 3 million, 3.5 million of a difference. That's that's big to bridge. Like, it's not, we add a bonus here and there and we will get there. Like, that's a wage of another player or two, basically. So news from top to bottom is so confusing. Not talking about the technical, like purely financially, it makes not like it makes some sort of sense. Getting off the books, value, all those things. But man,
Yeah.
like if you hear the numbers, I'm like, this doesn't sound like a deal we are gonna do, or we're gonna sign up
Yeah.
to.
And Aston Villa, because they signed him for, I think, like what, 18 million euros for like 7 years, 2019. Yeah, 7 years. So the value that is left is not that much for them. So they can sell it um, like this, I guess, if we pay, I don't know, 20 million or something. But yeah, it doesn't make sense financially, but I guess we will see. I just want coal miners really bad. I want coal miners. I don't care about the rest, but please give me coal miners.
Yeah. Uh, let me read out the chat a little bit, because I didn't. If somebody wants me to read out something, put it in again, because I'm not going to scroll up to the top again. Otherwise, it will be a confusing show. So if you want me to read out something, put it in again. That was saying I wouldn't touch anyone from Atalanta. I get it, but I've seen quote miners at the Eredivisie, and that's why I'm like, okay, I'll make an exception for him. Otherwise, I kind of agree with you as well. Let me see. Julian saying I think 4 is enough as a wage for Douglas Luiz. I think that's
Should
already
be.
kind of pushing it a little bit, if I'm being completely honest. Like if you're trying to set a standard, there needs to be a base. If Douglas Luiz is a base for a 4 million euro player, then what is the base for coal miners? If you get what I mean, like, and then what is the base next season when you have a little bit more of money potentially, and you're trying to bring a player in who is more ready-made or comes from a different league, basically. Like, then you are.
Yeah, it's a process. You need
Yeah.
to be smart with it.
And Julian's saying 4.5 for coal miners. Could, I get it, but then Douglas Luiz should be on less, in my opinion. That's just me. But like, again, it will be something. It will be around that range. 4.5. Like I said, 3.5 plus bonus. But if you buy coal miners, it will be at least 4 and a bit net. Without bonuses, that will be no doubt. I'm not gonna believe you're signing anyone until I see a proper source saying something. Fabrizio just tweeted about Juve, but didn't mention Douglas Luiz, so I'm not gonna believe it. Di Marzio is a proper source. Like, he's not. Like, you might say you might not like Di Marzio, and I get it, but he's not. He's not a pawn. He's not Gianni Balzarini. He's not. He's not those type of sources. You see they pop up once the transfer window opens, and they come up with the tweets of tonight at 11 p.m. I will Like, you know what Juve is planning. I'm like, if you know what Juve is planning, you're tweeting it out right now, not 11 p.m. You know, those type of sources, um, they're a no-go. You know, they're a no-go. And to be honest, like the Calafiori news, the Motta news, all those type of news, the Di Gregorio news, they didn't start off by Fabrizio Romano. You know, they like he tweets when he thinks it's 100% done or it's
Yeah,
very very real. He doesn't really start with the initial bullshit pushing, you know, um, like the initial news of could happen this like when the deal is very stretched. I think Romano jumps in when the deal is edging closer and he has more details. So
yeah.
I wouldn't be mad about that as well. Julian says Fabrizio Romano steals news. I'm not gonna get into that right now, but he does. Um, yeah, but like, I, I'm not gonna go to debate about sources because you can make a list of the things Fabrizio Romano got wrong, and there's a lot. Like, it's a long list. You know, it's part of the game. You know, um, yeah. Sani saying is Locatelli is hard if you would get Luis, quote minus, and Rabiot says. We play 38 games plus 8 in the Champions League, and you need to be very poor in the Champions League not to play 2 extra games. So let's assume 10 plus 38 games plus 2 Supercoppa games. Even if you don't make the final, you play for third place. It's actually no joke.
Stupid.
One
Yeah.
Copa game at least, you know. And I don't know how many World Cup games. I have actually no idea how the platform is actually set up. I don't think nobody knows, if I'm being completely honest.
It's
But we will
it's
see.
not even done yet, because I
Yeah,
know that Premier League teams are like crying about the money, and the Bundesliga teams are crying about money. So I don't know.
it's gonna be played. You know, it's gonna be played. They're not gonna pull out. It's gonna be played. That's for sure. But that I think that's just more of a preseason type of vibe. Like I don't. After a long season, I don't think anyone is gonna go. Okay, let's go all out for the Club World Cup.
Yeah,
I don't think it's gonna happen. You know, and you can give it a go, all out. But I think just pure, you know, fatigue wise, injuries, it's not gonna be like high level type of football. It's just not gonna happen, and you will see clubs not really going for it. If you win it, good, but other than that, it's like yeah, whatever, basically. Um, Julian's saying 3 group stage games, similar to the International World Cup. Okay, so at least 3 games as well. So going back to the question, is Locatelli be a starter? If you get Luis, quote minus, and Rabiot, um, I think he will have one fixed starter, and the other ones he will rotate. And with rotate, I don't mean um, you play one game, next week you play, the week afterwards you play, and then I will go again. I don't think like that. But he will pick his base, and he will stick with that, and then he will sub somebody out, and then he will start him next week, basically. And then again, he will stay in the lineup. That's how I think it's gonna go. But other than that, you need backups. Like you just need backups. This season, like McKennie shouldn't be a starter in this team. He was a starter. We didn't have a backup. You know, we like so we need to have backups. I don't
yeah,
I want like I don't worry about who's gonna play. The best player plays. Remember when in January, you know, remember when we were trying to sign a midfielder and then everybody was like, get Miretti out, get Miretti out. And then he played a couple of good games and everybody's like, oh, keep Miretti. Don't bring somebody in because you're just gonna not let him develop. And I was like, man, you're 1 point of Inter, whatever. I don't really care about that right now. Just the best player plays. We didn't do that, you know. So if you don't do that now, for certain players, I get it. But in midfield, you need to be stacked. You need to have options in midfield. Like you cannot have Locatelli injured and you're like, okay, what are we gonna do now? You know, because Miretti could leave on loan. Excuse me. You can have Fagioli. Like as of now, as we speak, you have Fagioli, Miretti, and Locatelli. That's it. Okay, McKennie. You have 4. Alcaraz is not your player. Rabiot is a free agent. He's not really your player right now. And that's about it, you know? You don't have, and you're, let's say you move out McKennie, then you have Fagioli, Locatelli, and Miretti. You know, that's it right now. That's what you basically have. You know, because Miretti is up in the air. If he leaves, it will probably be down the line. You know, if it will happen or not. That's a deal you can done. You can be you can do excuse me quickly. But we don't have options. Like you need to add.
We
You need
have
to add players. You definitely need to add
we
players.
have we have Arthur. We have Arthur. Yay, we have Arthur.
No, we don't have Arthur. Like again, it can get stacked really quickly. You can sign, you can bring back Barrenechea, and you can keep him. For example, you can re-sign Rabiot, and then you okay. You look around. Okay, now we have five. You can sign Colt Miners. You can sign Douglas Luiz, and then you can be like, okay, uh, Miretti, you're gone. You're out on loan, I guess. But in Chair, you're also out on loan. You know, I think that will happen if you sign Douglas Luiz and Colt Miners. But as of now, we don't have options. Like we don't have options. You know, and the midfield.
Yeah.
Like let's be completely honest, the midfield has been the main issue for this club for how many years now?
4-5.
The decline is insane, and I'm not comparing it to back then because you cannot compare that. But let's look at Real Madrid, for example. Does like is anyone jumping to sign Carvajal and Nacho, who are good players, by the way? Like I'm not saying they're scrubs or whatever. Like I'm not saying that, but do you want Carvajal, or is anyone like? Do you see links about Nacho and Carvajal?
No,
But they win.
I don't want. Yeah,
Why? Like look at that
Nacho
midfield.
won 6.
Six.
Nacho
Carvajal,
won 6. No, yeah,
6. Carvajal as well.
yeah,
6.
yeah.
But
It's insane.
do you remember ever a link about Nacho and Carvajal?
No,
But they win. Like they look
no.
solid. I don't think anyone is looking at that backline of Real Madrid and like, oh, I want that player. And no disrespect because
Yeah,
they're good players. But look at that midfield. Look at that front line. Like that's the
yeah,
difference maker for them. You know, they keep games close. Excuse me. And then the difference has been made by the midfield and the front line every single time,
yeah.
basically.
But
The last
for
couple of
Real Madrid
years.
is easy. For Real Madrid is easy. Like half of the world wants to play at Real Madrid,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Florentino Perez is sending letters, actual
Letters.
physical letters, just
About.
talents. Yeah, it's insane. That dude is insane. It's sending out like obviously not him, but he makes sure that these letters are sent to these players. Who knows how much? Maybe 200 a year or something.
But
Yeah.
the point
So
is, like nobody talks about that back line or whatever. You know, they talk about that midfield
yeah,
and the front line. They make the difference. We don't have that right now. I want to replace Danilo and Gatti. Like I want to replace that that those type of players. I want like De Sciglio, Alexandro's out. Like I need to replace those players. But that midfield is so poor, or like it lacks a lot of quality, especially attacking wise, that you can have Polo Maldini and Chiellini at the back. You're not going to concede, but you're not going to win as well, in my opinion, because there's not enough quality. And I said it all season long. Okay, there's enough quality to do better than what we did, but like to actually win, nah. Like nobody's driving that ball. Nobody's gonna make that final pass, that killer pass. You know, nobody can actually dribble past players in the midfield. You know, like it lacks so much. So I'm not scared about spending for that midfield, to be honest. You know, because we need to. Like
yeah,
we absolutely need to.
and yeah. Sorry.
No, you go. I was reading. I was trying to read out a
Yeah,
chat.
I just wanted to say that for me, you always say it, and I agree with that. That yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't care who leaves, as long as we bring in the right replacement, as long as we get better. And if Rabiot stays because of whatever reason, then okay. And if we can bring in better players, then awesome. If Motta is good enough with, I don't know, with Rabiot and David Luiz without Cope Miners, then okay, whatever. But I don't know.
Yeah, and people hit the
But
like
as long
button.
as we get better,
It's only 34 likes. Alex is saying Emery isn't a bad coach. To the contrary, why he's willing to give up on Luis is sus. Let me flip the
They need
question.
money.
Why does he want McKennie? Doesn't that sound sus as well? Like I can flip it.
Yeah.
I get your point, but he's okay with bringing in McKennie. So I think that's even more sus than letting Douglas Luiz go, in my opinion. But uh, yeah, you can say it is like the Pjanic Arthur type of deal where everybody wants to get rid in terms of financial situation, but I think it's a bit different because I think Douglas Luiz is actually a decent player who can give us a hand. I don't see how McKennie is going to improve Aston Villa. Like I'm being that serious right now. Again, 8 games of Aston Villa, but everybody knows how they play. I just don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it.
The,
No,
I
you
don't
go.
know. They must have showed Emery some crazy highlights of McKennie of the season or something. I don't know.
I mean, it's real. It sounds sus. Guendouzi has been linked to Aston Villa for 25. Nico Shearer, that's insane. Like if it's 25, I think I like Guendouzi, by the way. Balotito is dropping him off today. After a tweet, he's dropping him off to Aston Villa. Uh, yeah, but let's see
Yeah.
how that will go. I saw Pedula speak, or actually I have it on, but I cannot really listen, so I need to list. Let me see. Okay, he's saying that the club will make at least 2 signings in midfield, and the club is really convinced about Douglas Luiz. He said on a scale of 1 to 10, 12 or 11. I'm not sure. I think he said 11.
Wow.
So
Wow.
maybe they're going overboard right now because a couple of days ago nobody knew anything, and now it's like, oh, we're sold on Douglas Luiz. So read my comment. Which one? Put it in again because there are a lot of comments and I cannot put them all on.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but Rabiot's money still doesn't make any sense to me. Even if it's less than what he earned, that is still a crazy amount of money. There is no way Motta wants him this bad. Can
I'm
this be that is just a plan B if we can get our targets or something? Just to, we can sign him anytime or something? I don't know.
I, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I'm also a bit confused with
I,
the Rabiot one. I was not expecting that. Not confused in terms of like this is a complete shock because again I don't like Rabiot. Um,
yeah,
but I'm not like I don't think he's okay. I don't think he's a scrub. I think he's very inconsistent. I think, like I said it many times, he can do much more than what he shows, because he has the attributes. Like he can drive the ball, he can shield the ball. He has those bursts in possession, but he doesn't do that often. That's the frustrating part. And then he's on that money. I'm like, it's not worth it. That's my biggest issue with Rabiot. And at times he's extremely anonymous, like extremely anonymous. Like not even like when Vlahovic has a bad game, he's still involved. It's bad, but he's involved. He's out there.
yeah,
When Rabiot has a bad game, he's not involved. That's why he's having most of the time a bad game. He's just not involved, not at all. He keeps it extremely simple. Does not want to take any risk, real responsibility, and that's the frustrating part. But I can see why Motta thinks he can use him to his advantage, and if he can, yeah, like I want to win. Like if it's with Rabiot and Danilo and Gatti at the back, good. Convince me otherwise. But I just don't. Like you said, the price tag, like it's just I don't know. Like it's weird. Like it's very weird.
yeah. I just hate Mercato sometimes because like there are so many journalists and journalist wannabes. Like you never know what to believe, who to believe in, and unless like with Di Gregorio and Califiori, like all of them at once, and with Motta as well, like all of them at once tweeting the same thing. Like four of them, for the four big one.
Yeah.
It's like really hard to believe anything we read, really, and we just have no idea. Maybe it's possible. I don't know. Slim chances. Maybe we didn't even offer for Rabiot or something.
Yeah. I agree. Let me read out the question. You said you think Douglas Luiz is a very good midfielder, but here's a question: do you guys think that Motta can improve Douglas Luiz so that he takes a step towards being an elite midfielder? Um, I it depends.
Elite.
What do you think? Like, what do you mean with elite? Because yesterday I was live and somebody said Chiesa's world class. I disagree completely, like 1,000%. But I'm not sure what people mean with world class. So I'm not sure what you mean with elite. Like, name me a few players you think are elite, and then I can say yes or no.
Yeah.
You know, because elite for me, I'm gonna say no, because elite for me is cross. Like that's elite players, you know. So no,
Yeah.
like absolutely no, no chance. And even coal miners, but that's elite for me. So I'm gonna say no. Unless you have a different opinion about elite, then give me a few names you think are elite, and I will give my answer. We're gonna sell. Obviously, I wouldn't even be surprised if we sell one of Vlahovic or Chiesa. That's where the money will come. I wouldn't be shocked as well.
No, we can't sell Vlahovic. It, it wouldn't make any sense at this point.
I don't think Vlahovic. I think more so Chiesa. To be honest.
Yeah, because Vlahovic is like, if we sell him for like 80, we're gonna get like 33 from that, you know, because I mean, we
I
need
don't.
to
Yeah.
look at capital gains.
Yeah. I don't think. No, I don't think we're just gonna sell Vlahovic. I don't think that's an option right now. And Nina saying every
Yeah.
manager with Rabiot, I can fix him. Yeah, nobody's been able to do so. Actually, funny enough,
Deschamps.
I was comparing Rabiot with other players, and actually was comparing Rabiot with last season. And statistically, based on stats, I think this season he had a better season stat wise, taking away the
Mm.
goals. And we know what type of goals he scored the previous season, but like pure statistically based on passing or whatever, he had a better season. And that's why I'm like stats are good, because everybody was like last season he had a top season or like a very good season, and I agree. I said the same thing, but more so about goals, goal involvement, all those things, but purely based on the different stats, the basic stats. This season he had a better one. I don't think anyone will say, yeah, he had a better season compared to last season. But that's how sad, can work in your disadvantage, me included as well. And people hit the like button. Only 36. Let's get to at least 50 likes. So hit the like button now. I'm afraid the obvious sell is Chiesa, and I really don't want that to happen.
It
Again,
is what it is.
yeah, like I want to keep Chiesa, but if the club can give me a better option, I'm not gonna lie, I don't care. I don't like if
Yeah.
they give me a better option than Bremer. I don't care, or than Vlahovic. I just want to win, And if you can give me better players or a better chance to win, then good. I'm here for it, you know. So I'm not really too worried about it. I said it 2 seasons. I will just let the transfer window, you know, unfold. I'm not gonna sit there and be like, okay, if the club thinks it's good, I will say that I don't believe it's good. Di Lorenzo, signing Di Lorenzo could turn out to be a brilliant move, but at this moment in time, I'm gonna say no. Like, please, no. Like, absolutely no.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Yeah, it's like we can have our opinions and they can be different or whatever, but at the end of the day, whatever the coach and the director of football wants, and if they think Di Lorenzo can work even for fucking 20 million euros, which would break my heart, then get him. I don't know. Like, I just want Juve to be better, and if this is what it takes, this is what it takes. I don't know.
Oh, Milan asked for Lukaku. That's crazy.
Milan. I don't know. I think Napoli really wants to sign him because of obvious reasons.
Yeah, I saw the same. Di Marzio said the same thing.
Yeah.
Elite for me in his position is Kimi, Casemiro at Real Madrid, Rodi, Fabinho, Prime, or even I would even maybe say Hakan. Okay, so I agree with the first names. So I'm gonna say no. I don't think Douglas Luiz will be that. I don't think Hakan is prime. I think he's very good right now, but elite, excuse me. But I'm never gonna say
No.
Hakan is a elite. He's a very good player, but I'm not gonna say he's an elite player. Like, I'm sorry, I cannot do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But the previous names, and even Fabinho, like his prime, what was it, 3 4 years? Like, I'm not like, yep, maybe 5 elite seasons. Like, even for me, that's not really elite, if you know what I mean. Like, you need to do it long term, you know. But I get the point. So I'm gonna say no. I don't think Douglas Luiz will reach Kimmich type of levels. I don't see that happening. I hope if he joins, but I don't see that happening.
There's always a chance, but yeah, we'll see.
I thought Hakan was the best midfielder in the world this season. Um, no, I don't agree. I know he said that, but I don't agree. He had a very good season, but no, I'm sorry. I cannot agree with that part. And he was very good, by the way. Oh, sarcasm. Okay, he said so. A lot of like he had an excellent season, but I think people are going overboard a little bit.
Yeah.
Juve not spent for 2 years and have been selling and revenue. I think we have a lot more money than people think.
No.
I think we have more money than the media tries to put out there, you know, but I don't think we
Yeah.
have a lot of money. I don't think we have 70, 80
And
million
we also
euros to
try
spend.
to be smart with it because of the past, and we don't want to have issues.
Yeah, like that's it basically. Like, you cannot what did Romano say? Calafiori. He said calm down.
What?
He said calm down because somebody, like, he put out the the Thiago Motta deal, and somebody said, what about, next week, and somebody said, what about Calafiori? And he said he as well, and Fabiano Della Valle is saying Calafiori, Colt Miners, and Douglas Luiz want to join Juve. Yeah, that's not really news, if I'm being completely honest. Like, there's no real update there. If I'm being completely honest, but it's gonna be a very busy summer. We knew that, and it's taking already weird twists here and there.
Yeah. Like, did you see the Califiori for what was it, Hans and 10 million or something?
That changes every
No,
day.
Hans and 20 million.
I've seen
Yeah.
I've seen Caio, I've seen Barnicea, I've seen Sule, I've seen Hans,
Yeah.
I've seen Miretti, and at the end of the day, I think it's just gonna be cash and maybe Nicolucci, because that will be a permanent deal. Unless they're interested in Barnicea, I don't think we're gonna move out Miretti on a permanent. I don't think they want Caio. I don't think they have the money for Sule.
Yeah.
So Italiano. Yeah, Italiano is apparently rumored to be the coach. So who knows what's gonna happen in that situation as well. They're gonna need to quote unquote rebuild the squad. New coach, Calafiori is gonna leave. I think Zirkzee is gonna leave as well at the end. So Ferguson is still injured. So they're gonna need to bring in players, but they have a very good base. Also management wise, they're not mugs. If you know what I mean. They're not the old Genoa. You're like, okay, we want that type of player. You can have one of our U players, and they're like, yeah, thank you. I don't think they're that type of team at this moment in time. Getting in the Champions League, I don't think they're. I don't think they're just gonna sit there and be like, yeah, give me whatever you think you don't want, and we will take it. If I'm being.
Yeah.
Jazua Watamans, obviously a realistic move. I think the club is doing that. Calafiori, we have been linked with Zirkzee, Colt Miners. I think it's not
Di Gregorio.
Di Gregorio. That's the biggest one. No, like,
Yeah.
that's a shocker. To me, it's still a shocker. Guys, why aren't we linked to wingers? We're actually selling our wingers. Will we even play a winger formation with Motta? I've talked about it yesterday. I think everybody's assuming we're gonna play with 2 wingers, but we're not sure. Even the Chiesa rumors, even today, or was it yesterday that Di Marzio spoke about it, that he will evaluate him after Euros if he had a good Euros in preseason. It's not gonna happen. Everybody in the world knows who Chiesa is. also Motta. He doesn't need 2 weeks of preseason when there's just fitness tests, boosting your fitness to say, oh, he's a good player. Because in those 2 weeks of preseason, actually, you do nothing. Like it's just 1 week of fitness boost and then tactical, a little bit here and there. But he's not gonna be in 1 week. Like in 1 week, he's not gonna say, oh, now I've seen a new Chiesa. He knows what Chiesa is. Like those are, to me, they're bullshit rumors about, oh, if he has a good Euros, no. Or if in preseason he does well, I'm like, no, you're not going to keep Chiesa until the first week of August and then be like, okay, now you can go and now we need to replace you. It's just not going to happen. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You can do
And
that with
we
Barniche and
will,
Sule. Not even Sule, but
yeah, we would be so desperate to sell Chiesa at that point
yeah,
if he
everybody
still
knew.
didn't
Yeah,
sign the new contract. Yeah.
like that's just not going to happen. Like that, those type of reports you can throw away, in my opinion. I'm sorry. No matter who reports it, it can be the best sources out there. It makes just no sense. It makes no sense. Let me read out a couple more and then we will wrap it up. There's still no news about Chesney and Perin, but we signed Di Gregorio. Well, the news is Perin is going to stay, but there's no real news on Chesney. Don't believe the 30 million euro bid from the Saudi. I don't think he's going to go. I don't think he wants to join that league, if I'm being completely honest. But if that offer came in, the club would have tied him to a chair until he signed that paper.
I think maximum of 5 mil, and that's it. That's how much we get. 5 million, that's it.
Yeah, it's wages. Like
if we get anything,
it's gonna be. It's gonna
his
be.
wages are just way too high. Yeah,
it's gonna take forever, in my opinion. I saw something funny. I'm afraid that they pray Chiesa as a good Euros to sell him high. Could be. I could be. Weah's not even a good for a backup. Kosic is Krasic 2.0. Super easy to put on a weaker foot and diffuse them. Both should go. I think Kosic is gone. I'm not so sure about Weah. Just imagine if we did a Sule or Lise swap deal. Yeah, also not gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I know the answer. I think to Hanin's question. What's the difference between selling a player, including him in a deal? In the books, there is no including him in a deal. There is no such thing. It's always selling both ways, and that's it. There is no trading players. There is no adding player to a deal to a sum and then trade it into a different player. It's always selling two players. They go different directions. It's pay, it's money, and they just say how much is the good deal, and that's it.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. Like it makes more sense. Like it makes sense. Like you are putting it. If I'm being completely honest, because I think you need to put. Like you just cannot.
Yeah.
Bring in a player and that's about it. You need to put a value on it. I think that's what we learned last season.
That's how we did. Yeah, that's how we did with Pjanic and Arthur as well, and Danilo. The Danilo deal as well. It was the same.
You know what it is? They will call it a swap, but on the books it's like, okay, we're quote unquote paying 7, but you pay us like it's something like that. Yeah. Maybe there is something, to make it look a bit more decent. I don't know. Maybe that's something we need to look up, if I'm being completely honest. Probably we'll find that. Yeah. I'm gonna end the stream right here. Wait, no. Rodrigo saying why you think that Kimmich is not being taken into account for next season? His value is 20 million, just like the Napoli player, and he's 10 times better. Kimmich is world class. I really doubt that he's valued at 20 million. I really doubt that. If he's valued at 20 million, he's gone. Not that I think he wants to leave Bayern, but if Bayern is like, you need to leave, and he's like, I want to leave, 20 million. If Bayern say he's 20 million, he's gone on the same day. Like, he's just gone.
And Kimmich, or I don't know, he can play on like 5 positions. He's an insanely versatile player. He worth a lot more money than 20.
Yeah, and he's not joining Juve. Like, it's just not going to happen. And he's also not 20 million. Like, I don't know where you saw that, to be honest. But 20 million, no way. Like, then he's gone on the moment they make it official that he's available for 20 million. That's insane. But yeah, people, I'm gonna wrap this one up, or we're gonna wrap this one up. I will be back live tomorrow with Steve for a different type of show, so stay tuned for that as well. And then I will be back live on Friday and Sunday. You know, almost 99% sure. I'm gonna do the keep, sell, or loan live show on Sunday, so stay tuned for that. I kind of pushed it back a little bit because of timing, so that will be on Sunday. Thanks, Norbert, for joining, trying to make sense of the latest reports, and we will see how that will develop down the line this week, I guess. Do you like? I usually did that last summer, but I'm not sure if I will get you on this week or next week. I think we did that in January. I'm like, what do you expect for next week? Let's say I'll bring you on next Tuesday again.
Yeah.
Do you expect anything besides Motta, quote unquote, official?
Besides Motta, Di Gregorio, like I want him with the Juve jersey by then. You know, like sure. official.
Do you think it's possible?
That I think that's possible. Like I don't see what's in the way of that. You know, like that should be possible. Calafiori, I just so want him here, man. So I will say Calafiori as well, just because I really want him here. But I don't truly believe it. But I just say it with my mouth, and then we will see.
We will see. Main sponsor for the kit, no news. That's also something we'll probably talk about very soon.
That would be awesome. But something would happen with that, because this is insane.
Yeah, it's not good financially, to be honest.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
Yeah.
That will kind of sort itself out down the line. But again, people, thanks for watching. If you haven't liked the video, hit the like button now. If you're rewatching it, same thing, like, subscribe, and I will see you guys back live tomorrow around the same hour for a different type of show. Ciao.